Hello, Darklings! So today I wanted to talk about something that's actually kind of super important, and this was brought up by a few things that have happened to me relatively recently. One of them was last week I decided to do a accessory experiment. That's one of the things that I do as a DIY type of person. I'm always experimenting with the different things that I can make. When it comes to jewelry, to clothing, to artwork of any kind, I'm always experimenting and seeing what can I do. So I ended up taking scrap pieces of leather that I found at Michael's and ended up messing around. I cut them out with scissors and scratched on them, painted on them, and ended up just doing these things based off of something by someone in Pittsburgh, Lunation Leathers. And her work is beautiful, and she knows what she's doing, and she's had a lot of practice. They're hand carved and dyed and have a lot more love, effort, time, and craftsmanship into them than what I have done. And the pieces that I did are fun experiments. It's trying around different leathers and painting on the leather with acrylic paints, and I got something that's okay. And if I choose to wear them as hair pieces, then I can. I've been holding them in place with a plastic chopstick from Claire's. And that's fine. And I wanted to do it as an experiment. I ended up posting it to Instagram because I was like, hey, look, I made a thing. And by the way, buy from people that know what they're doing, not people that are playing around with it. And people wanted to buy it, and I'm not going to sell them because someone who knows what they're doing, makes a living off of doing it, and does it much better than I do, already does it. I want other people to buy stuff from them. Sure, I like making a living, and I like having enough money to survive, and anything I can sell, that's great. That's, puts more food in my fridge. But on the other hand, I kind of have some integrity about certain things. I'm a little funny about what I will and won't sell. And there's some stuff that I make that, sure, other people can do it, but I like the way that I make mine. And it's not like I have the cornerstone on making it. Like my jackets. Like, this is a vest that I made for myself, and I painted all over it. And I made all these buttons, and I sewed all this stuff on it. And I totally am allowed to do that, okay? I am completely allowed to sell stuff like that. It's fine. It's whatever. Other people are totally allowed to make that stuff too. I'm not the first person to think of it. I took it from a long-standing tradition of punk DIY aesthetics. That's not news. Those hair pieces aren't news either, but I like the way that she does hers. I want people to support her instead of supporting me about that. I want people to support me from the punk clothes. I want people to support me from the hand-painted jewelry that I do. Like, this is made out of watercolor. This is actual hand-painted by me, tiny thing, cut out with an X-Acto knife. And you can make one of these too. If you don't want to spend the money that I've put because I'm covering materials cost in my time, if you don't want to buy my stuff and do something for you because it's cheaper, good for you. However, I don't want to detract business from someone who deserves a little more than I do on certain things. And I've experimented a lot with the stuff that I ended up selling. And so I want to make sure that I'm only selling the stuff I'm comfortable selling. The other part of this was about artistic licensing. And someone within the last few days told me that a design of mine that I had drawn, posted through Tumblr and through Facebook, had been stolen and put onto a t-shirt without my permission. And it would be this. This thing has cost me way more than it's worth. This is ballpoint and watercolor on Bristol paper. I painted it 2.5 years ago so that I could get a tattoo on my arm. I spent 3.5 weeks researching, drawing, spending time trying to figure out what I wanted to do for a tattoo. And then in my excitement, I'm like, I finally have a design I like. Let's share it with the internet. So basically, I've made a terrible mistake because I'm not allowed to keep my art. I've drawn tattoos for myself before. And generally, maybe I shouldn't be posting the original artwork because apparently that makes it ripe for it to be stolen. And I'm just so annoyed that stuff like that happens. And I'm really annoyed that Pinterest exists because people don't check the sources on the stuff that they pin on Pinterest. I don't have Pinterest, so I don't understand how it works. But I find it very frustrating that stuff like this happens, and artistic license and copywriting and all that stuff is such a pain in the ass. And so I really want people to find where stuff comes from. I have a Redbubble account. I do not have Society6. I do not have Teespring, Pop Rages. I don't know any of these other campaigns necessarily. The only one of these take my art printed on shit websites that I have is Redbubble, which I always link in my description. And if people can support me through that, that's great. But if you want my art on something, make sure it's only through there. And I know this happens to dozens of artists all the time because art theft is a big problem that people don't give a fuck about 90% of the time, which drives me nuts. Anyway, the short of this is I don't want artists having to deal with their intellectual property being stolen. I don't want to steal someone's idea and make my money off of it. I don't want people stealing my things and making money off of it. I hate it. What I want is I want an artistic community. I want artists to support other artists, and I want artists to band together and share the wealth from the non-artists that are willing to put the money into it. One of the reasons I'm a starving artist is that I support other starving artists. It's a consistent thing. Anyway, because this is Rambly, because Rambly is what I do, please give some love to artists. Don't steal from other artists. And support your friends and all that great stuff. Till next time, Darklings.